Do you know the 4 different stages of your learning? In the 3 steps to JavaScript confidence, I have outlined exactly how to divide your time between theory and projects and exercises in the 4 different stages of your learning. Theory and coursework are the 2 things that you need to progress. You can't just have coursework and you can't just do projects. The 2 need to go together. The question is, how much time do you spend on each? The important thing is never to negotiate with this guy. I call him the imp, which is really just a representation of imposter syndrome. If you try and get out of actually coding when you avoid doing exercises or the projects or doing any coding, you are negotiating with the imp, which is imposter syndrome, who is telling you lies that you don't need to code, it's fine, there's AI, you can just look it up, just Google it. But all this does is lead you to a severe lack of confidence. If we now take a look at the 4 stages of learning, the first is the initial weeks when you just start learning JavaScript. It's when you've never touched it before and it's also brand new. When in this stage, you want to spend most of your time in theory and coursework. You want guided courses to help you understand the syntax and give you that introduction to the language. And you will end up doing very few exercises. And if you do, they will be very guided. But the next stage after that is fluency building. Now is when you're trying to really get to grips with that syntax and how you write functions and structure arrays and objects and practice writing those structures so you don't have to think about it too much. If you're working on fluency, it means that exercises now need to comprise a greater part of that learning. Without the exercises, there's not going to be enough cognitive effort, which is going to force you to write your own code and practice a lot of those syntactical structures. After that comes mental model growth. This is an exciting stage because now you're trying to connect the dots. You're trying to make sense of the language as a whole. And in this stage, which can go on for a very long time unless you have a structured learning approach, in this stage, you want to be focusing on exercises and project work. It's now at least 50% of your time is writing your own code. You still need the coursework or the bootcamp or a structured learning path that's going to give you that theory. But at the same time, you also need to be writing your own code in the wild and having to figure things out on your own. The stage that comes after that is where you really want to be, and it's confidence growth. Now you feel like you have a good foundation to really start building as many projects as you can. Ultimately, building things, as many things as you can, is what's going to give you that confidence. It's what's going to make you feel like you have a firm hold of that language and you can use it to build whatever you want. In this stage, at least 60 to 80% of your time should be spent on projects or exercises. If you're applying for jobs, it might be slightly different. You might need to spend more time on exercises because coding quizzes form a big part of the interview process. But when it comes to trying to build confidence and learn JavaScript effectively, this is how you should structure your time depending on where you are in your journey.